Good morning, everybody. This is Dana B. This is Charlie M. and Scotty S. We are the 3% of Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries. As you all know, here in Frederick County, we try to bring some of the latest and greatest, and sometimes some of the not so greatest things that are actually happening around here, around the state, around the county, around the country. And before we get started, I wanted to let people know that we are in our 250th anniversary. So I want to give a real quick shout out about Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries. We will soon have a store available at mtnpats.com for mountainpats.com. And as you can see on my shirt and Charlie's shirt, we have the Liberty Man. We are celebrating the 250th anniversary, and we are doing the history of Larry Johnson and his family to let people know how important the glorious cause of the Revolutionary War actually is and why we have our freedoms today. So I just wanted to show everybody real quick before we get into our topics today. This is our sign-up sheet. If you go to Mountain Patriots, mountainpats.com, there's a sign-up sheet. We are looking for people who are interested in helping us in our 250th anniversary. This is Make America Patriotic Again. And you can see Charlie here is George Washington. We'll get a chance to talk to him. We have the Liberty Man. We're also looking for people that want the chance to be a part of our 250th anniversary. So we need kids, moms, dads, business owners, history buffs to bring us some historical figures so that they can tell people about the lives of people that helped make this country great. So if you want to be Amelia Earhart or maybe Jackie Robinson playing baseball, or I do have a good friend of ours, Miss Sue, is going to do Dolly Madison, James Madison's wife. She's not making anything or baking anything on our show, so I wanted to let you know that's a different Dolly Madison. But that's part of what we're doing. This is for our 250th anniversary because this country started in the Valley. It started in Virginia. And we're going to take our country back, and we're going to end it in Virginia. So you can find all of our videos and everything else for Mountain Patriots right at www.wakeupwinchester.com. Make sure that you fill out a form here. Let us know if you're interested in helping us out. And with that, I will turn it over to Charlie for our topic today. We were at a Republican committee meeting the other night, and Charlie and I are going to talk about what's coming up in November and what we need to do literally to vet our candidates. So without anything further, I'm going to turn it over to our phenomenal facilitator and co-chair of Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries, my good brother, Charlie. All yours, Charlie.
Thanks, Dana. Today we're going to be talking about vetting of people and amendments and issues, but really there's people that are becoming members of FCRC, Frederick County Republican Committee, and there are candidates that committee finds and puts on the ballot and helps them with everything they need and until they get to the complete the primary, and then they support them versus the Democrats from then on. And so it's important that we have honest, right people as members, as well as candidates. So, and then we want to talk about. First, we'll talk about the members, vetting the members, and how that's.
Go back and do a little story about what happened the other day, Charlie, because that'll give people an idea of what we're talking about as far as vetting members of FCRC, and also FCRC being able to vet other elected officials, and what we see as some of the challenges that we run into.
And then we're going to get into the 3 amendments that are on the November ballot.
Absolutely.
And vet those.
Yes.
Similar. So when we bring new people into the Frederick County Republican Committee, they sign up at one monthly meeting or between the meetings, and then they're announced as candidates, and then the following monthly meeting, and they're voted in.
We vote them in to be part of the FCRC.
Right, right. And in the past, that's all that happened. And we were still at the second meeting when we vote someone in. We don't know them, don't know anything about them. Maybe there's a couple of people that do. So it becomes more important in that intervening time to have members dig into the person that's applying to be a member,
Right.
because we all know about rhinos, we all know about infiltration, and why it's being done, and it's always been done.
Hmm.
We need to pay attention, and the fact that we don't pay attention, we end up with people in there that are their tactic is usually just to disrupt things and make things disagreeable and challenge things and slow them down. And we turned out we did this time. Someone called the vote so that we did have a secret ballot this time,
Right.
because in the past you just raise your hand if you agree with them being a member or not. So we had a lively debate, and much livelier than any other meeting. It seemed like a waste of time at the beginning, but really, when you look at it, that's what voting is all about. Democracy is all about, is
It was
having
more
a messy
parliamentary.
debate. Yeah. And, and so we did that. And then that's to FCRC's credit, that's to be commended. And we need to go a step further, though, and figure out how to get a number of people willing to dig into their Facebook posts, their LinkedIn posts, their online presence, and anything else
LinkedIn.
that they can uncover that tells us about their history. And we don't mean to
We're not
say that if
demeaning
someone
anybody.
voted Democrat in the past, they can't be a Republican today, because even President Trump used to vote Democrat. A whole lot of people used to vote Democrat that are now solidly conservative, and because they've seen the light. And so that's okay. But we need to be able to ask them questions and say, well, you tell us why you voted for Jimmy Carter and now you voted for, you're trying to be a Republican. Um, that kind of vetting um, is a necessary part of what we do, and it's often ignored. So, you guys have a take on why we do vetting in the first place?
Yeah. I'll add this to it. And this was Tuesday night, and it was our understanding that we don't want just anybody there. Okay. And that's with any club, whether you're Democrat, Republican, whoever. You don't want infiltration. You want people that kind of fit your values. But the way we thought it was set up, and Scott will be able to attest to this, is when somebody fills out an application, we should have that application sent out by the chairman, okay, by the committee, for us to be able to take a look at that particular candidate. Now, if we didn't take a look at that candidate, that's on us, okay? But we should have the opportunity to be able to vet any candidate. So be the same thing as in any local election or any national election, you get a postcard in the mail. Okay, are you just going to vote for that person because you like the picture on the thing, or did you actually go back and do some research on that? So our feeling was that we should be able to, somebody should fill out an application with us or for any vote. We get at least 30 days for FCRC. Then we have a silent vote or a secret ballot that lets that happen. Okay. That we have the opportunity to understand who that actual person is, and we're able to vote knowledgeably, instead of putting somebody on the spot and saying, hey, why do you think we should vote you in here tonight? Well, that doesn't leave anybody with anything. We lost Scott. We're going to bring him back in. But we didn't want it. We just want to make sure that, and that's with any candidate. So, Scott, what are your thoughts about when somebody comes in, they fill out an application, which is where we were. They fill out an application, it comes out to us. We get the opportunity to vet that candidate, and then we have a vote on that person 30 days or 60 days or whatever your bylaws state, so that we get the right person in our committee. What are your thoughts?
You should have to have the time to. I mean, Let's face facts. Politicians will say whatever they want. Look at that ding dong down in Texas that they've got running now. He said he was running a vegan campaign, and then when they call,
Talarico.
yeah, then when they call him on the carpet of it, he's got some picture of him shoving some big freaking brisket thing in his face.
Right.
I mean, anybody can say anything they want to. You'll catch them in the end somewhere. There's something that's going to show you who this person is. So yeah,
Right.
you need to vet people. We don't need rhinos. I know there are like look at John McCain. I hate to say
Ah,
I voted for John McCain, but he was nothing but a rhino. When we had the opportunity to get rid of Obamacare, remember what he did when he came out there just because he hated Trump? Threw that thumb
right.
down and walked away. That's arrogance and just hubris.
Right.
No, we need to vet people because I don't want to vote for somebody. And let's face facts, we all got differing opinions. There are things that you agree with that I don't, and vice versa.
Right.
But the core values should always be there. Yeah,
Yeah.
you should have that godly background. You should have a conservative background, fiscally responsive, socially conservative. That's what I'm looking for. Not killing babies.
Right.
Not supporting all this stupid transgender crap and all this other garbage, climate change, whatever the crap they want to throw down the pike. So it's important to vet people because you'll find there's something in their background that's going to tell you who they truly are.
Well, that's kind of like Deuteronomy 17:15. It basically says that. Um, but you want somebody that's able. Um, we believe that somebody should fear the Almighty. This is God and country. We are. That's who we are. Okay. Assimilate. Um, be truthful and not be covetousness. There's no covetousness. We want to make sure that we have the right ethic and no all men sin and fall short of the glory of God. None of us are perfect, but we do want people that align with our values, but we also want the opportunity to be able to take a look at that person and do our own vetting of that as well. Go ahead, Charlie.
And that
And
what you just said is the key. You look at all these people. Remember when Abby, the terrorist, when she gets elected,
Right.
and everybody's, oh, yeah, she's a moderate. She was never a moderate, and I knew she was never a moderate. And then you see all these news stories. Virginia voters are shocked. This Virginia voter wasn't shocked. I knew exactly who she was. It's because people don't take the time to do what they're supposed to do. They read a headline, they see a soundbite. Oh, that's my person right there. They're good looking. They're charismatic. That takes a lot more than being good looking. I got elected and I'm ugly and I don't know about I don't know about charismatic, but with me, you know exactly what you got. I'm not going to sit there and blow smoke up your
But that's what
wahoo
we
and
want to
say one
know.
thing, but that's the problem with people. They don't take the time to do the diligence to do the work.
There's
that's on
three
us.
things that make people vote. They have to look good, and you can do this with almost any president or any candidate. Look good, sound good, and be congruent. Okay, Clinton looked good, he sounded good, he wasn't congruent, so they brought in Al Gore, which kind of gave him some congruency back then. Okay, so that's what people look at, but they don't really look nowadays more than ever. You have to know what that person stands for. Charlie?
Yeah, and so what I'd like us to do is move into the idea of these constitutional amendments, which are to change the Constitution of Virginia. We have the same vetting issues with this because people can be deceptive. Uh, Constitutional amendments put on the table for us to vote on can also and are also deceptive.
Absolutely.
And so many bills in Congress have a wonderful name and they mean the total opposite. So the same thing has happened with these three amendments remaining. We defeated the First Amendment
The no
for
vote.
now, and in Spanberger's reign, that may well come back for the Second Amendment issue. But we defeated that one, and there's three more. And there's some tremendous deceptiveness in those three. And we would like to vet those a little bit today and find out a little bit more what the deception is, what really the unintended consequence, no, the intended consequence
The intended
is
consequence.
that's hidden in there. and
Which one do you
that's
want to touch on, Charlie? You want to touch on
well, the three are abortion. Another one is the LGBTQ plus, which negates marriage between two people. And the third one is returning constitutional rights to felons once
May I
they've.
make a suggestion?
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Since my time is limited, can we start with the felony thing first? Since I have a lot
Yes.
more to say on that than most people probably would.
Well, why don't you take that segment, Scott? Let's hear, because I'm sure we've had this conversation. So take it away.
Well, I come from a background. I spent 36 years in corrections. Did 26 years here in Frederick County, Virginia, and I worked 10 years in Manassas at the jail there. I don't agree with it. I'm sorry if you've lost your rights, but let's face facts. You violated society's rules. You violated society's laws, whatever it might have been that you did. If you got convicted of a felony, it was more than just ripping the tag off of a mattress. You violated whatever it was. I'm sorry. If you want to get your rights back, then I think that should be a one-on-one basis, like it is now. You petition the
I agree.
governor. That's in there. The governor can restore your rights to you if the governor thinks that you have redeemed yourself to society. And I'm not trying to be disparaging here, but after 36 years of corrections, I've become a cynical human being. I believe in forgiveness, and that's one thing I've always had a problem with in my heart, and God knows he's working on me about forgiveness. But I'm telling you right now, after 36 years of watching people come in and out of jail, there ain't a whole lot of repenting in there. I got news for you. And there are the legitimate people who've done their time and said, I'm tired, let's screw this, I'm not doing it anymore.
Mhm.
But if you're a child molester, if you've murdered somebody, if you've done something heinous, if you're Jeffrey Dahmer, sorry, buddy, you don't get your rights back. You
I agree.
forfeited those rights because you were an animal or whatever. And I don't care if people get upset. Remember Clinton or Trump called them rapists and all that. If that's what you are, that's what you are. If you're a disgusting human being, you're a disgusting human being. Everybody is entitled to salvation according to Jesus Christ. Everybody's entitled. I know better than anybody else. But I'm sorry, if you've violated societal rules, you've done something heinous, then no, we shouldn't carte blanche give you just because you got out of prison and served your time. No, forget that noise.
Well, you made it
Again,
easy for me, Scott, because I happen to agree with you 100%.
and like I said,
I'll second that amendment.
the safeguard is already in there. They
Right.
can petition our
Mhm.
governor. We don't need an amendment to change things. The less we change our Constitution, the better.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. It's written the way it is, and all we have to do is follow that. We've added so many different things to it and muddied the water so bad. It costs us time, effort,
Exactly.
energy, money, lives, and everything else. Because the more you fix something, the more you tweak it, the more parts that can be broken. So I agree with Scott 100%. How about you, Charlie?
Oh, I do too. I mean, it's um, the recidivism doesn't support the the idea of codifying this into the Constitution. And we might have said this already, but when you take something and you codify it into the Constitution,
It takes
you
forever to take it out.
you make it almost a forever thing because it's really tough to go through and make amendments. So if you're going to make a change in the future with that particular topic, you don't want it to be an amendment, and the amendments should be far and few between, as they are with the U.S. Constitution.
Agree.
So,
And also, too, and I'll shut up after this, it's a feel-good thing. We feel good. We've had compassion. And I can't remember which amendment it was, but the feel-good amendment back in the 20s, what was it? Prohibition. We're
I
going to
was going to say
stop people. We're going to stop people from being alcoholics. We're going to stop these men from beating their wives and abandoning. What happened?
it
They
made it
turned
worse.
America into a organized crime, got
Mobs,
a shot
organized
in the
crime.
arm, And then they woke up one day and said, wow, we really screwed up. Let's fix this. But
Yeah.
it didn't. I mean, yeah, you could buy booze again, but the genie was unleashed. It was uncorked because a couple people wanted to do the Carrie Nation thing and feel better about themselves because we've taken a stand. We've taken a stand. Yeah, we'll take a stand morally, but don't do it in the Constitution. You know,
Right.
You know
have
something
your
though, Scott?
convictions. Preach on the corner and tell everybody about it. Don't make the rest of us follow along with you.
You know, the only thing the best thing that came out of that prohibition is we got a chance to watch The Untouchables with Elliot Ness.
Yeah, you would have never had
Robert Stack as
Yep.
Elliot
the
Ness.
Valentine's Day Massacre, which was a really good
Exactly.
movie.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
Don't mess with stuff. You know, we're talking about that's life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and that's you just got to kind of go with it. But real quick, folks, make sure you check out MTN Pats. Take a look at our shirts for 250th anniversary. It's all about the mission, as you guys know. What was the next one on the docket, Charlie? It's the
Well, we have a
it's the
choice. I think the big one is abortion. I think we should talk about that. If we have time left, we can talk about the anti-marriage amendment.
and there's a couple links here that I'll put out there. One of these is Rumble. This is on Planned Parenthood. This is about a woman who's talking about selling the body parts. And when people think about abortions and so forth, I don't think a lot of moms or dads or people really realize what happens a lot of times to these children that become aborted. Okay. I'm one of those people, and you can be as mad at me as you want to be, but God created life. It's not my responsibility. It's not for me to decide who lives and dies in that particular case. But this is one of the bills, Charlie.
If I could just insert in that thought you just had, something that I heard from Charlie Kirk in his explanation of when does life begin? And I had never heard it put quite that way before, so I just want to share it. What he said was, the mother has a DNA, the father has a separate DNA. At conception, those two DNAs become a totally separate, independent third DNA. So what the mother has in the womb is not part of her body. It's a visitor for 9 months. She supports it with an umbilical cord. The father supports it with having started the placenta, I think it is.
The male DNA, from what we understand from a scientific standpoint, the father actually has a bigger part in that embryo and that birthing process. The mother's carrying it, but his DNA and it helps with the placenta and everything else that surrounds the baby. Correct.
So the idea of my body, my choice, there's two bodies there.
Exactly.
And life had started when those two DNAs came together.
And along those lines that you're saying, Charlie, I mean, let's face facts. Life to me starts at conception, and they've done over the years. They don't call it a fetus. It's a clump of cells, or it's some kind of mass, or anything to dehumanize it. But the people who are this rabid, I want to kill these babies in the womb, these are the same people that if they catch me out in the woods shooting Bambi, they're going to scream, how dare you? They're the same people out there screaming, save the whales. We're killing the environment. Let's not eat meat because we're killing animals. We should. It's this. You value a human or an animal more than you do a human.
Mm-hmm.
And the laws on the books right now, they want to kill a baby. They don't care what stage it is. And let's be for real. If you know anything about a guy named Pete Singer, and this is one of the people that Obama quoted, if I'm not mistaken, this man said you were not a human being until you understood you had a sense of self. And they decided that age was around 2 years old when you could look in a mirror and say, that's me. So you are eligible to be done away with up until you have a sense of self. That's where they're going with this. It's all euthanasia. It's all part of the uh, de-evolutionize our planet, the extinction of mankind to benefit Mother. It's all connected into that communist singy-songy, let's all hold hands and sing kumbaya garbage. But they would value a dog over a human being, or you know, I guarantee every time I hear see those doggy commercials, and what's her name, Sarah McLachlan singing that in the eyes of an, I'm like, just give me a, I'm sorry, just give me a break. They are a human being, and if that child, if you shot somebody and she had
I
lost
was
her
just
baby,
thinking.
you're going to
Double
go to jail
homicide.
for killing that fetus. But
Yep.
oh well, you can walk into a doctor's office and a doctor can say, "Yep, we're going to kill that kid," and it's no problem. No, you shouldn't put doctors above the law. I'm sorry.
So, in other words, Scott, if I shoot a mother that has a child, that's a double homicide.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mm.
Huh.
You know, there's
But
another
that's
thought that
that's kind of convenient, isn't it?
it
Yep.
is. And then there's another convenience in abortion. And I wrote an article about this in a newspaper several years ago, that I was contending that abortion is a construct by men to have inconsequential sex. Now, that's not the only reason, but
Same
that's
with
got to be
women.
one of the reasons, because mostly men have been pushing for abortion rights. Think
And
about
on top of that, let's go even more into it. Everybody screams about Nazis these days. The youth is whatever that word is. The euthanizing of
it,
people,
right?
all that stuff that Hitler and all those Nazis glommed onto about getting rid of the Jewish, that came from, what was her name, Margaret Sanger.
Margaret Sanger.
For
Planned Parenthood.
she wanted to destroy the black race. She was
Absolutely.
a racist, and it was all started to get rid of black children so they couldn't breed. And all of that stuff that went on in Nazi Germany, as horrible as it was, got its start here in America from these evil racists that wanted to kill blacks because they found them inferior. That's where this whole thing springs up. And who is the most aborted segment of our population? Unfortunately, it is the black child, because there's no husband in the background, there's no father there,
And
and
that was calculated by, I'm sorry, that was calculated pretty much by Democrats.
let me give you this example. I was working in jail one day, and I was at video court, and this young black inmate was there, and he was talking. He had like 6 children already, and he was bragging to everybody. And this kid was only like 21, maybe. And his goal in life was to have a child by every ethnic uh, uh, race he could find, every
That sounds like
ethnicity.
Epstein.
He wanted a baby from every ethnicity. He didn't want to care for that baby. He just wanted to breed. That is so
To
wrong, and
breed, to breed and brag.
Breed and brag.
that is part and parcel of what's wrong with this country. We have lost our morals. To think that killing a baby at any point is okay, and I don't care if that child is mentally deficient. I don't care if that child is autistic. I don't care if that child is deformed. God has a
No,
purpose for everyone on the
God has
face
a
of
purpose.
whatever that is. I don't know, and I don't understand why God. Uh, why this person is autistic, and why this person might be mentally deficient, or why this person was born without a limb, or why this person, I don't understand the mind of God. It's beyond my scope. It's beyond what I can comprehend. But he has the purpose. And who are we to destroy
Right.
what
Right.
he has set in motion? And who's out of all these children we have murdered over the years, who's to say that we haven't killed the person that had the cure for AIDS? We haven't killed the person that had the cure for cancer. We haven't killed the person that had the cure for getting rid of fossil fuels and making something magnificent happen in this world. That's what we've done.
We
Well,
have.
I'll tell you, and I'm gonna cut it there for a second because we know how we feel about it. But this is what we're vetting right now. Now, if you all remember a month ago, a little 5 weeks ago, we had to vote on whether or not we were going to redistrict the state to 10-1, 10 Democrats to 1 Republican, or we were going to leave it alone at 6-5, which was more fair. Well, these bills have a way of, and we're going back to vetting, these bills have a way of not quite telling the truth about what's going on. And you have to read things. Nowadays, we have been snookered in 9 ways to Sunday to try to believe something that actually doesn't exist. A lot of people, when we were voting the no vote, or the yes and the no vote, had no idea what it actually meant. It was just some person up there telling them, oh, you got to vote this way because this is the way it is. This is what we're taking a look at now. Why is the abortion ballot, and this is on the ballot in November, okay? We can come back to LGBTQ and marriage rights and so forth. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't need to know. All right. But why is this so deceptive? Charlie, you want to start us off on here? Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to protect abortion. Should the Constitution of Virginia be amended to protect the freedom to make personal decisions about prenatal care, childbirth, postpartum care, birth control, abortion, miscarriage management, fertility care?
They already have the rights. They already have those rights.
Yep.
So the reason for doing this is to make it harder and harder for anybody to change it.
Yep.
And then the deception is clear when you take a close look at the unintended or the intended, as I mentioned before, consequences, what they're going to be able to do under the wording that's put into the amendment. And like we've said many times, words mean something. So they have crafted these to give them more latitude, less liability.
No liability.
No liability. And a host of other things that they can do under the general words, and they can therefore shut off lawsuits, shut off anybody trying to do something different.
Didn't they do that with the vaccine, Charlie? Mandated people to be able to get, you have to get this or you lose your job. Right. Okay? That's not constitutional. The Constitution states life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And what they have here is, this is what upsets me. Not the whole thing upsets me, but it gives the right of the individual, not to an adult. If I have a child that's under 18 years of age, I'm the parent, okay? I'm going to work with that child, all right? But this gives 3 doctors or nurses, professionals, the right to say to somebody, we're going to do that for you. You need this because this isn't health reform. This is death reform. Okay, so a minor can walk in there and mom and dad have absolutely no idea and they don't have to say anything. That's how I'm reading this. So you're making life-altering decisions about abortion, pregnancy, and other reproductive services without the parents' involvement.
So they can take the parents out of everything. When my grandson was 15, I took him to the doctor, and the doctor looked at me and said, I need to ask him a few questions. Can you step out? I'm like, no. Why? And I trusted this lady. I mean, I really do. So I said, okay. So I walked out and I asked Elijah what she asked, and he didn't say anything. And come to find out, one of the captains at the jail told me why that was. When they turn 15, the doctors have to ask them, do you want us to share information with your parents? They're not asking you. They're asking the kid at the age of 15, do you want us to tell your parents what's going on, or do you just want us to keep it between you and me? That's what they want.
We're responsible for those children. They just did this with 2. See, it's always what fits best. So if we'll just take 2A for a second, I have to be at least 21, but I have to be with an adult but an adult in Virginia is classified as age 18. So if I'm going to carry this over here, I have to be 21 years old and have an 18-year-old with me. A lot of this stuff makes absolutely zero sense. And if you can't think through that, how are we supposed to give somebody the right above us in the government to tell us what the difference is between life and death? This allows for restrictions of access to abortion during the third trimester of the pregnancy, except when the patient's health is at risk or the pregnancy cannot survive. So there's no guardrails. As this takes a look at, there's no guardrails on any of this, Charlie.
I can't read the small print. If you
What would
can,
you like me to read?
if you can tell us where you got this from and what some of the unintended consequences are, that would be helpful.
I got this from a candidate right now that's running for Congress. And then I did some research on my own, and then this was put together for me. The amendment would make it difficult for injured patients to get justice from an abortion provider. So if they screw up, there is, again, no liability. There's no guardrails. Okay? So that automatically, I mean, we watched it with COVID. Then the Virginia law already allows late-term abortion when 3 physicians agree that a pregnancy would substantially or permanently harm the woman's health. This amendment removes that safeguard, leaving the decision solely to the abortion provider performing that and profiting from the procedure. So we have a young kid that, let's say they're 13, 14, 15 years old. They're not mentally, you don't make decisions, life and death decisions at 13, 14 years old. You have an adult supposedly in the room with a white coat on, telling this person that they needed an abortion without the person, without without any parental guidance, and that if anything happens to that child, they're not responsible for it in any way, shape, or form. Then it says here, not mentioned in the ballot summary, the vague reproductive freedom language that opens the door. So if this bill goes through, this is backdooring of puberty blockers. Now we know what they're trying to do with the children. Okay, let's turn them into a giraffe if we feel like it. Okay, this is also covers the transgender procedures for minors against the parent's will, removal of any safety standards, while also omitting any guarantees that a woman can sue for malpractice or hold the abortion providers accountable, and denying parents the clear right to help their daughter make a life-altering decision about her body and her future. This is, we're trying to take the parents out of this.
So it doesn't matter when we believe conception starts.
Makes no difference.
It makes no difference because this is affecting every stage of pregnancy,
from beginning to end.
And even what Governor Northam said is if the baby gets accidentally born, we'll make it comfortable, and then we'll have a conversation, an ensuing conversation to determine what to do with it, whether we kill it or not.
That's murder.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's plain and simple, and they don't deserve to get a gun back.
That fits under this. Yeah.
And then, too, this is just a precursor, because next year, what are we going to end up with?
Right.
A doctor-assisted suicide.
Exactly right.
Devaluing of life. Again, going back to the self-extinction of society for the betterment of Mother Earth, that garbage. It's just a lie from straight from hell.
Exactly.
And the continued destruction of the family.
Right.
Yep.
And this will amend the Constitution of Virginia, adding in a section numbered 11A, which says it overrides anything in our current or future Virginia statute. So it does take us into euthanasia later on. This is a sweeping, vague term. Does your child have a constitutional right to sexual experimentation? You're giving up those rights. You're handing them over to the state. Okay, this to me is absolutely insane. And I don't think the reason we're doing this is it's not to, we want people to be informed about what rights you're actually giving up. Then it says here, every individual has the fundamental right to reproductive freedom. Well, if you're aborting something, that's not reproduction, is it? Are you reproducing anything? Are you producing or reproducing anything during an abortion?
No.
No.
And he goes back to Aleister Crowley.
Oh, gosh.
To do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. I want to live my life any flippant way I want to, regardless of the consequences, and I shouldn't have to put up with any consequences. That's the problem of society. I want to do what I want, regardless of what happens, and when something happens, I want to be able to get my way out of it so that I can just keep on doing what it is that I want to do, my way or the highway.
And you know what?
Yep.
This goes further. It includes the ability to carry out decisions related to one's prenatal care, childbirth, postpartum care, contraception. We have a way to try to help people through this that have gotten pregnant, either intentionally or unintentionally. We have a way, which we're going to cover in a second.
I got to bounce, fellas.
Help. Scott, thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you, Scott.
Have a blessed day.
God bless.
So this is all about miscarriage management, fertility. An individual's right to reproductive freedom shall not directly or indirectly denied, burdened, or infringed upon unless justified by compelling state interest achieved by the least restrictive means. So despite claiming that to permit a third trimester regulation, this takes away the state's ability to limit risky up to birth abortion. So it goes a little bit further, Charlie. I'm just going to read it out.
Yeah, please.
What?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Notwithstanding the above, the Commonwealth may regulate the provision of abortion care in the third trimester, provided that, circled, that in no circumstance shall the Commonwealth prohibit an abortion, number one, that the professional judgment of a physician is medically indicated to protect the life or physical or mental health of the pregnant individual, number two, and when the professional judgment of a physician, the fetus is not viable. So physician equals the abortionist who stands to profit from the abortion industry, making this extremely biased.
Sounds like a conflict of interest.
This is insanity. It goes a little further.
This codifies a conflict of interest.
Absolutely.
As being
I'm going to
legal.
get paid to do this. So I'm going to talk this kid into doing this, and I get paid for this. And who cares about that person's mental, physical I don't care. Come on in. Let me get paid. I'm out the door. Okay. This also means it kills parental consent laws by claiming that they discriminated against minors. We're discriminating against minors. I'm the parent. Okay, so I'm supposed to be, a person so Dr. Fauci can decide whether or not I have a child? That's insanity. Punish medical staff who say no to an abortion and open the door for taxpayer-funded abortions.
Punish
so now we're forced to pay to kill somebody.
Punish a medical staff for saying no to an abortion.
Yeah.
Boy, that sounds oddly communist.
That's Luciferian.
Luciferian, that's a better word.
Okay.
Better description.
Creates limitless exceptions, making it impossible to enforce any kind of reasonable safeguards. There are no guardrails, no safeguards to this. Nothing. Now, it goes a little further. The Commonwealth shall not penalize, prosecute, or otherwise take adverse action against an individual based on such individual's own exercise of this fundamental right or such individual's own actual, potential, perceived, or alleged pregnancy outcomes, including miscarriage, stillbirth, or abortion. The Commonwealth shall not penalize, prosecute, or otherwise take adverse action against any individual for aiding or assisting. So wait a minute. I don't go to a doctor's office. Does that mean that any individual can perform an abortion on me or my child?
Yes, it
With
does.
no repercussions?
Yep.
Another individual in exercising such an individual's right to reproductive freedom, it's not reproductive freedom with such other individuals' voluntary consent. Okay, so Billy Bob, I'm going to pop back here behind the dumpster. This is going to sound sick. Grab some scissors and a coat hanger, and you're not liable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Crazy. This is Luciferian at its maximum. So it says here, think about this. Abusive partners, traffickers, out-of-state activists that are already shielded if it's voluntary consent. Almost all common sense safety procedures would be struck down. This eliminates any accountability for the abortion industry. Any. So it goes a little further, Charlie. In the message, it says, for the purposes of this section, the state interest is compelling only if it is for the limited purpose of maintaining or improving the life of the health of an individual seeking care, consent with accepted clinical standards of care and evidence-based medicine, and does not infringe on that individual's autonomous decision-making. Who wrote this?
That's gobbledygook.
Who wrote this?
Lawyer.
Then it says this section shall be self-executing. Any provision of this section held invalid shall be severable from the remaining portions of this section. So it says, example, state interest to protect a woman is made secondary to the clinical standards defined by the abortion industry. So the abortion industry tells you if all of this is going to work for you, and they're not responsible for anything.
So given all of this,
I'm sick to my
we
stomach.
like to say that it's on you, the listener, to do your own research. Don't take our word for it. Go and find out the facts about the deception that's behind each one of these amendments that are there. Don't wait until voting day for you to walk up and ask somebody that's outside the voting booth, well, which of these should I vote for?
You know what else it does, Charlie? This is and it just is your translation. This is perfect. It says the translation. You wake up the next day in a sanctuary state for big pharma, no guardrails, for-profit abortion industry.
Mm-hmm.
No guardrails. Now, let's give some people, I'm going to stop sharing this because I want to give some people
some hope.
A little bit of hope here, Charlie.
Right, please.
Okay? Because I'll just share this with you. I am adopted. Okay? And I'm going to take us to moms.gov. So we want to make sure that we're trying to help people at the same time, okay? Because people are going, oh my gosh, I got in trouble. I got pregnant. I don't know what my parents are going to do. Let me tell you, there's a lot of people out there that will be more than happy to have a child.
Wasn't moms.gov just created?
Moms.gov was just created on Mother's Day of this year. Let me find it. We're going to share this. Here we go. And we're going to a couple things, okay? And I want people to look into Trump accounts. Okay, there's a lot of different ways. If you need money later on for your kid, there's 529 plans, there are IRAs, there are things. There's a government-funded plan out there for children that starts in July of this year, after July 4th of this year, that the government will give money towards your children. So by the time they're 18, if you just add a little bit to it, they end up with $250,000 to buy a house or go to school, whatever they need to do. This is called moms.gov. And this is for resources, information, and help for new and expecting mothers. Now, this website, and I went through it, Mountain Patriots is an educational ministry. Charlie, you and I, but we've been doing this. We're 4 years old as of the 23rd. We meet almost every Monday for the last 4 years. One of the things
we're
that
still
we've
adolescents.
done is, what?
We're still adolescents.
Yep, we're still. Exactly. So here we are as adolescents, unless it's in dog years, we'd be 28. Okay. But here we are, and we're hooking up with other organizations that are out there. And one of the organizations that we went out and visited with is a group called Obamacare. So let's say a young lady here in Winchester, Virginia, Frederick County, gets pregnant. Okay. Well, right now they can pick up the phone and they can get what's called UB 486. That's called the morning after pill. There's got to be something that happens with that. We need to get back to biblical principles, folks, to abstinence. Okay. We create so many problems by not following God's law. But this Obamacare, you can walk into a place like Obamacare and they will give you an ultrasound. They will talk to your boyfriend. They will talk to your family if you want them to. They will give you information that will help you make the right decisions. Don't take this on your own. But this moms.gov is brand new. There's over 2,750 pregnancy centers across the country. The majority of these centers are limited medical services, so you got to check with your local one. This particular site, you can find a local place near you. So you can click on here and put in your zip code, and it'll tell you what organizations are out there to help you. So moms.gov has that on here. It also gives you nutrition quick facts for moms, dietary guidelines, what the CDC recommends. I would prefer also talking to holistic people for this. Dietary guidelines, it's all here. Starting your child's future, which here it is, Trump accounts, enrolling children, looking to start a family. Before you make a decision to say, I'm terminating this, pray on it. Take some time. Okay, you've got time. The morning after pill works, I think it's 8 weeks. Okay, so you have a little bit of time, but you can find out things that are out here. There's Trump RX that's on here. There's resources for women and parents. All of that is here. There's all kinds of additional resources. The effects of cigarettes on reproductive health, STIs. Just go to moms.gov. That's one of the places that you can go and get help. One of the things that we did is we actually went to Obamacare, and it was a low pressure, no pressure, meet with the family, meet with the daughter, meet with the child. I don't see any law that should state, Charlie, that a 12 or 13 or 14-year-old can walk into a clinic and get an abortion. I without the parents involved, I don't see it. So
that's
there
all
are
part
resources.
of that's all part of the destruction of the family.
Exactly.
And the reduction of the population, because there's a lot of people out there doing things and espousing their opinion that there are too many people on this planet.
Yep.
And we need to be reduced from 7 or 8 billion down to a half a billion. I mean, that's
500
real.
million people. Go look up the Georgia Guidestones. It'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
So here we are, Charlie. We're already at because of COVID and everything else, we're already at a loss of reproduction of children here in our country. Okay. We're at a low, which is why Trump got into in vitro. I'm not going to get into arguments.
We're not replacing ourselves.
We're not replacing ourselves. There are plenty of parents out there that want children, but when you put a law, an amendment in your Constitution like this,
mm-hmm.
that says anybody can go get an abortion at any time for any reason, anytime, any place, anywhere, and have absolutely no liability or guardrails. That's sick. There's another piece to that. Not only do they get paid for the abortion, but a lot of people don't realize that organizations like Planned Parenthood, when a baby is 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, what they do with the body parts of children is, I don't even want to talk about what
Yeah.
they do with the fetal cells. They make skin creams out of them, and they sell the parts. You can buy a thalamus or you can buy a pancreas. And what's really upsetting about this is when these children are born, you want to make sure, this is like the Uyghurs, okay? You want to make sure that these children are healthy. So does a baby feel pain? Most of the time, this is done. You don't use any pain medication. You cut the child into pieces while it's alive. That is, I'm speechless.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we need to go too far down that rabbit hole.
But I
But
wanted to say that because people don't realize, here you are, you're a young kid, you're 15, 16, 17 years old, and almost every woman that I've ever talked to, and I'm a man, so okay, has regretted the fact, oh, your life will be easier. Okay. Your life will be easier. You can go on, you can get that college degree, you can do whatever you want. You carry that for the rest of your life. There's no reason for it. And now they're trying to codify it and put it into an amendment that says it's legal and you can go get it done and there's no guardrails. And if anything happens to you, we don't care.
yeah, you're right. That's what they're saying. And a lot of us disagree.
A lot of us disagree.
And we'll continue to disagree. But you need to dig in yourself and find out what it is that's happening. Pay attention to it
Vet
and
your candidate. Where do they stand on this?
vet your
Where does your
candidates
candidate in November stand on this?
and vet your amendments.
Vet your amendments. Know what it is. You have a First Amendment. You have a redress of grievances. You can say what you want. But as soon as something like this gets signed into law, okay, trying to get rid of this,
Signed into the Constitution, which
signed
is
into the
where
Constitution,
the
once
law
it's signed
comes
in.
from. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly right. So,
And I think I don't know if we need to go into the LGBTQ. That's another amendment,
well, we can touch on it real quick.
which basically says it. Right now, the law says marriage is between a man and a woman,
Correct.
and this says the opposite.
Well, not only does it say the opposite, but do you remember the cake baker? The guy that got in a lot
Denver.
of trouble because of his First Amendment right,
Yeah,
did not want to, and he has a right to, I have a right to say it's my company, it's my business. I can choose who I want to serve.
yeah,
Okay. It's the same as DEI. Well, you have to have so many DEI hires. You have to go against whatever religious beliefs that you have. And my understanding is that if somebody wanted to get a same-sex marriage, it would literally put that pastor or that person performing that ritual or that covenant. I'm going to call it a covenant. If I'm a Christian, it's a covenant.
right.
Okay. If it's satanic, it's a ritual. Okay. So, I mean, that puts them on the hot seat as well. It's like you have to make that cake, and people will sue and sue and sue just to sue and sue and sue if they don't get their way. So there's going to come a time for a lot of the people that want to back things like that. There's going to come a law somewhere along the line that you're not going to like, and this is going to fall into your lap because what comes around goes around. Never
Yeah,
fails.
yeah.
It never fails.
Now,
What
now,
else do we
just
need to cover, Charlie?
well, I was just going to say what comes next if this gets passed, if all these amendments get passed. Ms.
Euthanasia.
Bamberger still has enough time to make some more amendments. because she's finding out she can get away with all this crap. So I think you'll see a DEI amendment coming
Mm-hmm.
after this whole episode,
Mm-hmm.
and God knows what else. So we need to stand up, speak up, and be able to explain things the best we can, so that there's daylight put on what they're trying to do. So that's kind of my final thought.
Let's recap real quick for everybody. Number one, make sure whether you're in an FCRC meeting or any kind of meeting where you have to vote people in, give people the time to be able to vet those people coming in. Okay.
Hmm.
A school teacher, you just don't say, hey, here comes Mr. Smith. Okay. Let's throw him in that first grade class and let him teach these little kids. You don't know, especially in today's world, whether that is a pedophile or not. So you've got to make sure that you're vetting everything that you possibly can to find out what the character, the moral structure and the moral character and fiber is of that person that you're bringing into whatever organization that you have. The
Hmm.
biggest thing is going to be the vote. When we all vote in November, make sure that you know where your candidate stands on the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the 10th Amendment, the 14th Amendment. Not just, wow, that person really is a nice person. I think there's a lot of nice people out there that I don't trust. They come across as nice, and I don't trust. Do you? Oh, that's one of the
No,
nicest people. Okay. The
yeah,
next thing you know, they've got your kid out behind the shed. And, you know, I mean, it's a
right.
shame that you have to look at it like that. I don't remember ever being in a society like we're in today, Charlie, ever.
I don't either.
Ever. So no matter what organization, make sure you vet that candidate. Number two, take a look at what is coming on in Virginia. There are 3 constitutional amendments that you're going to definitely want to look at. Okay. And number 3, get out there and vote. Do what you need to do. Help your candidates out. Pass the word. And we spend a lot of time with this. It helps everybody out. If you guys would just, if you like what you see, say something, share this, pass it on to other people. Don't hold on to it, because you don't know who's going to get something out of this. So it helps our numbers, it helps our algorithms. So like what you see, make a comment. We want to know whether you agree with us or not. We learn too. We're not perfect. If there's
Yeah.
a counterpoint to what we're saying, we definitely want to hear that counterpoint. Okay. So like, share, subscribe, and tell other people about what we're doing here. And lastly, we want you to make sure that you go back to our Mountain Patriots page, mtnpats.com. We're looking for some people that can help us with the 250th anniversary of our country. We're 250 years old. We have a republic, right, Charlie?
If we can keep it.
If we can keep it. And it's teetering, folks. It's teetering. Here's
It
your
really is.
opportunity in the next couple months.
It's being attacked from all directions,
All directions.
and it is a war that's going on, different from the Iran war that's going on, but
Spiritual.
a war nonetheless, and a spiritual war, a war for culture.
Your soul.
It's uh, what is it? Borders, culture, and something else. There's 3 things that we need to hang on dearly to, and culture is one of those.
Your brain, your body, and your borders. you
Mhm.
know,
Right, right.
seriously. But sign up and come on here and talk with us about what historical figure that you see. We'll be doing this all year long because the 250th anniversary of this country is a whole year celebration. We want people to be involved in what's going on. So make sure you go to mtnpats.com. We do meetings on Monday nights. If you're interested in our meetings, shoot us an email at mtnpats.com and let us know what your comments are. And if you'd like more information on us, we do have 7 different ministries. and just be prepared, be vigilant on what's going out there. And we all glory, as we can tell you, Mountain Patriots as an educational ministry, all glory goes to God. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Charlie. We have our own special Mountain Patriots prayer. So Charlie, if you would take us out today, that would be fantastic. And thank you everybody for joining us today.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful world and for this country that you've given us, and the patriots who are willing to care for it. Thank you for inspiring our founders to create this beautiful republic. Please help us to keep it as the aspiring place to live. Please give us the wisdom to do the right things, the common sense to judge wisely, the energy to never give up, and your unending grace in which we take comfort. Jesus, in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Folks, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment. And as Charlie and I always say at the end of every Mountain Patriots meeting, this one
is in the book.
Have a blessed day, everybody.